Okay, we're recording, right? Okay, so hey everyone. My name is Chris Driscoll. I'm the chairman of the Student Government Elections Commission and the alternate student trustee. Here we have the vice president for advancement debates with three candidates, and three of them are here to give their platforms and why they and explain to you why they believe that they're the best candidate for the job. So here we have Colleen Rushnak, Diane Solano, and Jill Neggia. So the three of them are going to, I have a list of questions to ask them, and the three of them are going to answer. So the first question is, please introduce yourself, your involvement on campus, and the backgrounds and qualifications that make you the best candidate for Vice President for Advancement. Colleen, you may answer first.
Okay. So hi everyone, my name's Colleen Rushnak, and I'm a junior history and secondary urban education major, and I try to be as involved as possible on campus. I'm a community advisor in Wolf Hall. I'm in Capital Alpha sorority, and I'm training to become a volunteer for the Contact Crisis Hotline. And this semester, I became a college enhancement intern for the care department, and I also write for the Signal, and I'm in Capital Alpha Pi and Phi Alpha Theta. I've been in student government since my freshman year, and I've served as on the freshman class council as secretary, and I was also a senator for education, and this previous year, I was an associate member. And I'm the best candidate for Vice President of Advancement because I'm really passionate about student government and all that it has to offer, and I would be willing to give my all to the organization.
Thank you, Colleen. Diana, you may proceed. Your mic's off.
Sorry.
Okay.
So, hi, my name is Diana. I'm a junior journalism, professional writings, and communications, radio, television, film specialization with a minor in Spanish. On campus, I'm involved with ambassadors giving tours to parents and prospective students. I'm a writer and photographer for the Signal. On her campus, I was sponsorship and marketing chair, and now I'm a staff writer since going abroad. I've been a part of student government since my sophomore year, serving as a senator for the School of Arts and Communications. And a little background experience. I have experience in graphic design, Photoshop, and video editing. I'm qualified for the position of Vice President of Advancement because I love finding new and creative ways of using social media to produce something that's both informative and puts a smile on someone's face. So overall, I just like taking pictures and writing. So this position combines two things that I'm very passionate about. Yeah.
Great. Okay, Jill, you may proceed.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jill, and I'm a junior health and exercise science major. Some information about my involvement on campus. I am a member of the varsity women's cross country and track and field teams. I'm a member of Best Buddies Club, the Exercises Medicine Club, Zeta Tau Alpha, and this past year, I was the Vice President of Operations for the class of 2021. I am also a tutor in the Math and Sciences Department of the Tutoring Center. I feel that I'm the best candidate for this position because I have great time management skills and leadership skills. I work well with others in individual settings and group settings, and I also have experience with the Student Government Advancement Committee, as I've been a member of this committee for 2 semesters.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, so the next question we have is, one of the duties of Vice President for Advancement is conducting communication to constituents. How do you plan on addressing this duty, and is it different from the way student government reaches out to its constituents now? Diana can go first.
Yeah, sure. So I would continue to reach out to our constituents by continuing to use the Instagram page and to use the website, just so those are 2 resources that students can really focus on, and people are always on their phone, so it's kind of like easier to access. And I would just try to make it more creative and just like keep up the good work that WIN has done in spotlight members, really showing what student government's about and why we are a part of it. I would also like to make a video because I feel like videos show more than posts could ever. Just highlighting events like Homecoming, Finals Fest, Epcot, Community Fest, just to show that everybody puts so much work into planning and every behind the scenes details. And I love creating flyers in general. I've gotten way better since my freshman year. I thought that throwing glitter on a flyer was like how to make it creative, but now I have more skills in font placement, color schemes, and just to make it eye-catching and informative. So that's what I can offer.
Thank you, Diana. Yeah, Jill, you may proceed.
So I believe that utilizing social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and potentially even Snapchat on a more regular basis could allow messages to be delivered to students at the College of New Jersey on a more user-friendly basis and a broader basis. Student government currently utilizes social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. And by working on advancement, I noticed that a lot of students were reached via Instagram story. So I was hoping to potentially expand the social media platform to include Snapchat stories as well. On Instagram and Snapchat, there's this swipe up feature. So I was hoping that when you swiped up on our Snapchat stories or Instagram stories, you could be directed to the student government websites, more specifically an announcements page on the website that had upcoming student government events and summaries of the student government meetings as well.
Thank you, Jill. Colleen, you may proceed.
Okay, so I think that advancement is in a really strong place right now in regards to the way that we reach out to constituents. So I definitely want to maintain what Wynn and like Nikki have done in the past. And I think our Instagram and our website are in a really, really great place. It's super user friendly and like really helpful. So something that I kind of want to focus on is trying to work with the Signal and Lions TV and trying to work to like reach our constituents that way. Like Diana was saying, actually, like using like videos, and I think that like using mixed media is something that I've learned from writing on the Signal is really important. So making videos would be something that I would focus on. And I would also like to encourage each class council and senator cohort to kind of try to maintain an Instagram page or something for their respective cohorts, because I think sometimes people are like, I think that would really help people focus specifically more. Sometimes people are more likely to focus on their like what they're interested in or what their grade is rather than the student government as like a whole. So I think that's another way to increase constituent communication.
Great, thank you, Colleen. Okay, so the next question we have is, how do you plan on increasing marketing efforts for Welcome Week that is geared towards outreach for the incoming freshman class? Jill, you may go first.
Okay, so I am a huge advocate for Google Calendar. So I was thinking for the freshman class, a large Google Calendar could be shared with each incoming freshman with the time and location of each Welcome Week event. Using Google Calendar, these students could delete the events that they were not interested in and just leave the events that they were interested on this Google Calendar so that they would know where and when they would need to attend. When I was an incoming freshman for Welcome Week, we used the Roar app, which I thought was great because you could select the events that you wanted to attend and it put them in a chronological order with the times and locations of the events. And I was also hoping that potentially the Roar app could be more specified to each incoming student, more specifically making it major specific. So the app could include just events that pertain to your major, and then you could add other events that you're interested in as well. And if we could not specify the Roar app to majors, I was hoping that we could have the head senators email the incoming freshmen in each major, just specific times and locations of all of the Welcome Week events just pertaining to their majors, so that they would know what they should go to and where and when those events are taking place.
Thank you, Jill. Colleen, you may proceed.
So I think a lot of work to do outreach for the incoming freshman class should be like over the summer. If I was elected VP advancement, I would try to do. So I would just try to post things in the Facebook group for the incoming class and try to like maybe do like a Q&A portion if they had any questions about involvement. And I would love to try to communicate with like the Office of Transitions and maybe work together with CUB and SFB to see if we could set up an information session during Welcome Week, because I think our three organizations work like together a lot. And We're pretty influential on campus. So I would definitely try to do a lot of work during Welcome Week and try to let orientation leaders and community advisors know that we're a really good organization to refer freshmen to. And I would also love to like hang up posters in all the freshman halls, because as a community advisor, I know that that works really well for getting first year students out. So just trying to like get as many people out as possible would be a goal.
Thank you, Colleen. Diana, you may proceed.
So I would increase marketing efforts for Welcome Week by having more information sessions on what it is to join student government for the fall elections. I remember as a freshman, the time conflicted with another event that I wanted to go to. So I would think having more like information events would be nice to have, as well as making a flyer in that information session about like every candidate that we, not candidate, but like cabinet member that has been elected, a little description on who they are, why they joined, and their position. And I would like to give out stickers because as a freshman, every freshman likes free stuff. So I would like to give out stickers. And I think that something else that would be helpful would be to give like kind of like a flyer that has like a barcode that you can scan with your phone, and it directs you to the student government website. And through that, you can just learn more about student government. But I would also like to update it to have kind of like Welcome Week events, and I would really like for student government to host a Welcome Week event, whether it's just like playing Kahoot or Jeopardy, like having like insomnia cookies, just so they get to know who we are and why they might want to join. And yeah.
Great. Okay, so how do you plan on building relationships with campus media outlets like Lions TV or WTSR and local media for student government, and what would those relationships look like? Colleen, you may go first.
So I just really want to try to, like I said before, I think we're in like a really good place with our social media and our website. So I just kind of want to focus on cultivating stronger relationships with organizations like the Signal, WTSR, and Lions TV, because I think they're really good at communicating what we would do on campus, and it would really help with transparency and hopefully increase numbers of membership. I just would love to work with them to ensure that our ideas are being heard. So maybe having a person on my committee that's like a point person to reach out to all of these like campus medias. And in regards to reaching out to like local medias, I would love to work with cabinet if we had a significant bill or resolution or initiative that we wanted to pass. I think that we could really pitch a really good idea to show everybody all the good that student government's doing.
Thank you, Colleen. Diana, you may proceed.
Okay, so I would like to build relationships with the Signal and Lions Television. So I know the Signal's always looking for like people to write for them, specifically in their opinion section. So if we could build kind of like a bridge to have students talk about or give their opinion on what they think about student government, what they're kind of doing. And I would also like to promote in the Signal, maybe at the end of the article, that they can come to our Wednesday general body meetings and sit in and learn more about student government and what we're up to. On Lions Television, I know that they do segments that you can pitch ideas for. I've had a friend done Ferris on the Street where he goes directly on campus, runs around with a camera and interviews people. So maybe if we had a segment like that, that's like, what do you think about student government doing this on this particular day, and then kind of informing more of people around campus, and then being able to see that video on YouTube and know what's going on campus is really nice. And I would also like to work with outside news sources like the Ewing Observant to report on campus, Community Fest and TCNJ Votes, because those two are directly events that affect them, and just give more information to building a relationship with the community around us. So yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Jill, you may proceed.
Yes, so I was hoping to work with the TCNJ Signal in an attempt to create kind of a student government summary newsletter. So through this newsletter, we could post it around campus or send it via email, just so that we could summarize what has been happening in student government meetings, and so we can promote the student government events that are happening around campus. so we could use the swipe up features on Snapchat and Instagram so that students could be directed right to the website or right to this newsletter. And I was also hoping to create a QR code and post it around campus. So if students scan this QR code, again, they could just be directed right to the newsletter. On a local media standpoint, I was hoping to work with the Vice President for Campus and Community Relations, just so that we could build relations with local and surrounding communities so that we can promote student government and all of the good events that we do.
Thank you, Jill. Okay, so our next question we have is, how do you plan on reporting resolutions, initiatives, and bills to the student body and appropriate media outlets? Diana, you can go first.
Okay, so I would make sure that everyone's opinion, students are heard during the reporting of resolutions, initiatives, and bills, because even though we are the people that kind of are put in charge and kind of view what's brought to us, a larger amount of people can be affected by our decisions. So once again, I would try to reach out to the Signal and see if they could write a special article on what they can what students can read about and why this is directly affecting them. Like I remember with the housing situation, some people had very strong opinions on what to do. Overall, I would do a poll on our Instagram story to see if they know what's up to date and could give suggestions, as well as there's a Q&A box where you can ask a question and they can give you a response or just write a comment on what you're doing. Overall, I would just like feedback from other members and just the student body in general. So yeah.
Thank you, Diana. Jill, you may proceed.
So similarly to what I had been saying before, I feel like I've said this idea a few times, but I think promoting the swipe up features on Snapchat and Instagram would be extremely beneficial. Right when you swipe up, it could bring you to an announcements page on the student government website that could have summaries of the resolutions, initiatives, and bills that student government has been working on, just so that the student body could get more of an idea of how these resolutions, initiatives, and bills are going to directly affect their experience at the college in New Jersey. And I also think that using a QR code is an extremely beneficial idea, because when students scan these QR codes, again, it could bring them right to the student government website where these resolutions, initiatives, and bills can be summarized in more understandable terms for students at the school.
Thank you, Jill. Colleen, you may proceed.
So I'd really like to, a goal of mine that I have would be to make a cohesive document of every resolution, initiative, and bill that's passed, maybe with an image and a blurb on what the purpose was behind the bill, so we can present it to the student body. Because I think having a readable document can really show others on campus how we're making tangible changes and the kind of changes that we're doing. And if possible, I would really like to make videos from the author of each bill, initiative, and resolution if they wish to be in the video, or maybe the co-sponsors or whatever, just explaining why they made the bill, the reasoning behind it, and the process of making the bill, resolution, or initiative. And we could post the videos on our social media pages, because I think that would be really inspiring to people that wanted to get involved with student government, because then they could see how things have actually been passed, and they could see the process from start to finish. So.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay, so our next question is, how do you plan on increasing efforts for recruitment with the alternate student trustee? So for the audience who doesn't know, the alternate student trustee is the chairman of the election commission. So how do you plan on working with this position for recruitment, or for more contestancy in elections? And what are your short-term and long-term goals for student government recruitment and of general representative members? Jill, you may proceed.
So I think that recruiting members from larger organizations such as sororities, fraternities, and even athletic teams would be really beneficial. I know that sororities and fraternities on campus use assessment packet where they submit proof through photos or words that they attended or participated in a campus event. and by submitting this proof, they get points. So perhaps we could work with the sororities and fraternities secretaries so that after the members vote in elections or attend student government events, they can get points. And in return, perhaps that student government members could also get points by attending sorority and fraternity events. In general, my long-term goals are to increase student government members through the recruitment of large organizations, like I stated, fraternities, sororities, and the athletics departments. And my short-term goals for student government include increasing the current member return rate. I hope to do this by creating more bonding events, because I believe that bonding with members of student government would allow them to feel more comfortable just conversing and just be more comfortable around each other and being able to participate in student government meetings with more ease.
Thank you, Jill. Colleen, you may proceed.
So I really plan on increasing efforts for recruitment by doing a lot of work over the summer to prepare for Welcome Week in the first couple of weeks to recruit first year students. And I want to share clear expectations of what student government is, as well as the many benefits that they can gain from being a part of our organization. And I also really want to try to continue to recruit members as the year goes on, because I think a common theme is like people think that like once fall elections happen that it's too late to get involved. Like that's not the case. And like many students transfer for the spring semester, and students are like reluctant to join a club at the beginning, and elections are really intimidating. So it's hard to run just right from the beginning. So I would like to have like a link in our Instagram bio that has multiple options of clicking, so like students have easy access to the form of being an associate member, or if there are any positions open that they could apply for, that they have that option. And I think that, like Jill just said, retention I think is super important and an issue that we kind of face. So I think working with the speaker to make sure that members are being satisfied. So I think the speaker, the vice president of advancement and AST having like a working good relationship about how to not only recruit but to retain members is really important.
Thank you, Colleen. And Diana, you may go.
So my plan on increasing efforts for recruitment with the alternative student trustee would be what Colleen and Jill said, looking at the retention rate, specifically on why members continue to come back. I would just like to ask them questions on what they like the most about student government. And I would also go to members that have left student government or just left the position in general and ask what they didn't like about student government, or just if the role wasn't for them, and just getting to know what we could do better and what we already are doing good. Ultimately, it is a big part to join student government, so I would once again stress like the associate member, because I know that you do get discouraged if you don't win the position you wanted. So just stressing the fact that you can come back as an associate member and build that is really good. Short-term goals include just increasing the use of social media for student government. I would also like to help cohorts and class councils with their apparel or social media pages if they need to. And I would like to take headshots of all new members being elected. Long-term goals include creating apparel for everybody, and I would really like to work on a video that's titled TCNJ Student Government, or Rush TCNJ, just to get a perspective on why people join student government, homecoming events, us doing work but also having fun. So this video could be showed at entrance sessions just to show that we are just about everything. So yeah.
Thanks very much. Okay, so this is our last question. So this is like in a way just a closing statement, just to sell. Okay, so what is your overall of your position in student government, and why should the student body elect you for vice president for advancement? Colleen, you may proceed.
Sure. So I really want to help people become leaders through student government, because that's what was done for me in the past, and I feel really fortunate for my position as a freshman on class council. I feel like I've really grown a lot through student government. So my vision is being the kind of leader that helps others become leaders, and I really want to support all members with like any and all ideas that they have, And I'm just extremely passionate about student government and all the good it can do for the TCNJ community and the local Ewing and Trenton community. And I just want to try to support people the best I can. Something I'm really passionate about is like voting registration. So I would really like to work with the Vice President of Governmental Affairs to try to get as many people registered to vote as possible, and like try to get them, make sure that they're like registering in the proper place. So just trying to like maybe do something like that. So that's a big vision that I have for being advancement, and I'm just excited to see where it could take me.
Thank you, Colleen. Diana, you may proceed.
Okay, so my slogan is to create the best content possible, edit it, whether it's a photo, video, or words on a post, and inform student government and the student body using this content that is informative yet fun. Overall, I'm just a girl that likes to take pictures on a regular basis, edit them, and just this position really combines my two passions. And being a part of student government, and I've seen it grow into a very good organization. Well, it was good, but it's like advanced to a whole new level with everybody being involved. I mean, even during this debate, I've learned so much from Jill and Colleen with their ideas. So it's just student government turns you into a leader, and I wouldn't be debating here right now if I really didn't have a passion for making student government the best it can possibly be. And just good luck to everybody.
Thank you, Diana. And Jill, you may proceed.
So in general, I hope to use this position to increase overall promotion of student government via social media platforms and other media platforms as well. Similarly to what Colleen had said, student government has done so much for me and has allowed me to learn not only a lot about myself, but a lot about TCNJ and the surrounding community as well. So I'm really hoping that I'll be able to communicate that to potential student government members and just increase recruitment of members so that they can have as great of a student government experience that I have been having. I'm passionate about student government, and I'm hoping to use my position just to improve not only the student government community, but just the community at the College of New Jersey as well.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so that concludes our debate for Vice President for Advancement. I'd like to thank Colleen, Diana, and Jill for their time. So this debate was recorded on Monday night. It will most likely be uploaded by Tuesday morning. Yeah, so I thank you all for tuning in, and make sure you remember to vote on Thursday, April 23rd, through via Qualtrics. There will be a campus-wide email sent out Thursday morning, and we hope that we get as many people to vote as possible. Thanks very much, and have a great night.